So anyways, what I was saying back in the part, I guess this will be part 2 of, Lost Takes Long, sorry. So anyways, when Locke opened up to Kate and then Kate was just like, oh, well, look how far you have now. It's like, you know what, that's just unnecessary. You're a bitch. I hate you. I felt so bad for him and I actually almost started to cry. I was crying during a lot of this episode. I'll just put that out there. Don't make a crazy face. I am attached to John Locke. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Okay, so that was that horrifying conversation. And then we find out what happened to Helen, who was the character that Katie Sagal played in like the 2 episodes with Locke's girlfriend, which just brings a whole other level of disturbing stuff to me, just based on like going way back to the 3rd episode when like of the entire series when we find out that like Locke is calling this like, I don't know, service of women phone place. I don't know if it was like a sex service or whatever, but like, and like the women that he talks to were on a recurring basis, like he asks to call Helen. Like that's just fucked up. I can't handle Locke. So we find out that she died of a brain aneurysm. Now, my question is this true? If these people can fake an entire plane crash in the bottom of the ocean, then shouldn't they be able to fake a grave? Like, you know, that would give Locke a reason to stay. And they don't want Locke to want to stay, so they could just have said she died. Like, you know, I don't see why they wouldn't do that. So I don't know if it's something we'll ever find out. But I don't really know if I believe that she died. And if she did, that sucks, because I really liked her. Because Katie Skull's awesome. Then Abaddon gets shot. Okay, where did that come from? I have no idea. That was actually really intense. And then, this was an amazing episode. Locke gets in front of the car and drives away and gets in a car accident, and then he wakes up. And Jack is there, and he's pre-awful beard, but still like on the verge of not very good things. He's like not functioning, obviously. We're in the non-functioning Jack stage of his life. And he, you know, says, "What are you doing here, John?" And they have one of their many conversations about faith and science and all this stuff. And you know, and then Jack lays it on Locke, which is basically what kind of, you know, puts the final nail in the coffin, basically, when he says, you know, you're just a lonely old man, blah, 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 blah. You're not important, blah, 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 you know, which is awful, but it is what happened. And then you know, and then Jack said, or Locke said, you know, your father says hello, which was just awesome. Basically, Locke could not get anyone to come back, or at least so he thinks, until Ben tells him that Jack booked a, you know, plane ticket. But he couldn't get anyone to come, or he doesn't think. And this actually leads to the most disturbing part of the episode, or at least just the most disturbing concept of the episode, which for me is the idea that Locke's death wasn't originally going. I thought that he killed himself because that's what he had to do to get back and all of this stuff. And I still don't even know if that's even really true. I guess it is in some ways, but because he had been told he had to die. But he was going to kill himself just to kill himself. And I cannot handle that. It's horrifying. So that's kind of when I start to cry. And then, you know, Ben comes in, and then we get like the most disturbing scene in the season so far, which was brilliant. I could honestly watch it like 15 times and talk for like an hour about this one scene. You know, Ben saves Locke, you know, is being really genuine, or you know, sounds like he's being genuine, is talking to him like he's like a, you know, like therapist, and is just being very, very kind, and that's kind of when I knew something was off. And about halfway through the scene, I knew that it was coming, but I didn't really understand why, because he had just saved him. And then he starts Locke starts sobbing, and then I start sobbing, and then he says, and then Locke says, you know, Jin's alive, I have his ring, and I need to find Eloise Hawking, and then he just snaps and kills him, and it was pretty messed up. Really, really messed up. So then we go back, and, you know, Ben's on Caesar, the new character Caesar, was talking about how Hurley like disappeared, and like they all disappeared before the plane actually crashed, which is really interesting. But another thing that I don't so basically Ben is injured, and we're back on the island, and Ben is injured, and Locke sees that he's injured, and it's just like, it's the man who killed me. And, you know, I don't know what is up with Ben. It's very confusing, but I thought that the episode, even though, like, there are a few people that are just like, oh, this kind of just showed us stuff that we already knew, but it's like, okay, well, apparently people have forgotten about the idea of, like, character, because I thought that this was, you know, I think that it did give us some insight to certain things, the fact that, like, Hurley and them did disappear from the plane, and that, like, just the conversation with Charles Widmore, and, like, even though we don't know if any of the information we're getting is true, it's still information that we're getting, even if it makes everything more confusing. So I thought that this episode was kind of more of a character study on Locke, and kind of an update on, like, where he is psychologically. And I just thought it was really incredible, because I do think that he's, like, the richest character on the show. I mean, I guess Ben would be the richest as well, but I find that there's just so much with Locke. Like, you just know him so well at this point that it's really, like, incredible how you can kind of predict what he's doing and other such stuff. So, all in all, I would give the episode an A-. Yes, an A-. Why? Because, yeah, even though it showed us different things, it gave us that one scene with Ben and Locke, which was creepy as all hell. Oh my god. And it kind of gave us some new insight about certain things. Abaddon died. So, I don't know. I'm going to try to keep these shorter and actually try to, you know, have comments to say that are of actual value, as opposed to just summarizing the episode and saying that was awesome or that was cool. I am going to get better at this. I promise you will notice a difference. But, okay. And until next week. Bye.